Hey guys, after a lot of questions about the coffee enemas that I've been doing lately, I decided to do a little behind the scenes of how I do them. Now, the reason I'm doing them is because my latest test results show that I still have signs of Blastocystis in my system, which is a parasite. Now, although my symptoms have subsided, when my system is a little bit weak, blasto can thrive again. So I just want to make sure that I'm really tackling it from all angles to make sure that it doesn't come back. So coffee enemas are a really effective way to get rid of things like parasites and yeast and just help to detox the liver. The reason I'm using coffee is because it helps to open up the blood vessels and relaxes the muscles that help with the bowel movements. It then travels up to the liver and helps to open up the liver bile ducts, which increases the production of bile, which in turn increases the ability to digest your food. You need bile to digest food. Also, this helps to increase glutathione, which is your body's master detoxifier. So you can see why all this stuff is really beneficial to the body. Not only is it helpful for parasites and yeast, it's also really helpful for removing heavy metals and toxins out of the body. Now, one thing you can do as well if you want to really amp up your game and you have a parasite is adding anti-parasitic herbs to the coffee enema solution. I haven't done it myself yet, but I have read and heard that it is very effective. The thing with blasto specifically is you need to do enemas in order to really get it out of the system because it sticks to the walls of the intestines and the mucus on the intestines. So you need something to really get in there and flush them off the walls and then bring them out of the body. So, enemas! So let's get into the kitchen. I'm going to show you guys how I do it and try and bring you along as much as possible. I don't want to be too graphic with this, but I want you guys to see the entire process. So let's go. So the way I start out with a coffee enema is by boiling the coffee grounds. So I have this special enema coffee that I got off of Amazon. I can link it in the caption below. It is tested for heavy metals and toxins and it's certified organic, so you know that what's going inside of you is pure. So I'm going to use 3 tablespoons of this, and then I'm going to boil it in a stainless steel pot with 4 cups of filtered water. Now, I use a Berkey filter because it gets out all the shit that is from tap water. So if you have just like a regular filter, no worries, but this guy is the best. So literally just do 4 cups of water. So I always just make sure that my pot is completely clean, freshly clean, and that my containers that I'm using are also really clean too. So I'm literally just going to add 3 tablespoons of the coffee into the water and then boil that for 5 minutes, then let it simmer for 15. Then I'm going to keep the leftover coffee in the freezer, and that way it stays fresh for longer. So while the coffee is simmering away, I'm going to just disinfect these 2 bad boys. So I've got a mesh strainer and a glass jar. So you don't want the coffee grounds in the liquid, so that's why I'm going to use the strainer to strain out as much of it as possible. I do a double strain just because I feel like some grounds get through this. If you have like a French press, that can work fine, but I don't have one, so I'm going to do this. So I'm going to disinfect these in some hot boiling water and then I will be right back. Okay, so the coffee is all boiled down. I'm going to try and do this as very seamless as possible because it's a little bit of an awkward angle, but I want you guys to see. So I'm just going to strain once into this jar as easy as I can. There you go. So you can see there's like a lot of coffee grounds left over. Just discard it. So I'm going to wait for this jar of coffee to cool down a little bit before transferring it over to like another jar. I'm going to double sieve it, strain it, and then I just want to let it cool. So the way that you can check if it's room temp is by sticking your finger in, and if you can keep your finger in, then it's all good to go. But if you can't, it's a little bit hot, then just wait a little bit longer. It usually takes about an hour or so to cool down to room temp. If you want to speed it up, you can put it in the fridge, but just make sure it doesn't get too cold because you don't want cold coffee going into your bottom. So while we wait for the coffee to cool down, I'm going to run you through what this is. This is the kit. So I got this off Amazon as well. This is from Aussie Health. It's a silicone bag. That's, you know, BPA free, it's plastic free, and has no toxins. So how this works is I hook this onto the towel rack, which I'll show you in a sec. You want to hook it onto something that is high enough so that the gravity will pull the coffee liquid down. So towel rack is good for me. I lie on the bathroom floor. This here is very important. This clamps the tube, so when you put the coffee in, the coffee is going to want to come through the tube, and this clamps it so that it doesn't just spurt out everywhere. I've made the mistake of wanting to bring in some more air or something, and I removed this clamp, and literally coffee went everywhere. So you want to keep this clamped until you're ready to go. This here is the probe. It's a tiny, tiny hole in the top of it. It's where the coffee comes out. So what I do is cover this in coconut oil, liquid coconut oil, and then gently put it up. It's very easy actually. It doesn't hurt, and it's comfortable. You don't really feel it. So yeah, you put that up. Once that's inserted all the way, then you release this, and the coffee will come down. Now, if you can't take any more in, that's when you clamp it, and then you just leave it. Depending on how I feel, I either keep this in the entire time, or I gently remove it and just pop it into the bath while I let the solution do its thing. I lie on my right side and do that for about 5 minutes. Then I lie on my back for 5, and then on my other side for 5. That way it just gets around the entire body. 15 minutes is ideal. If you can only do 10, that's fine, but 10 to 15 is like, you know, the sweet spot in terms of getting the most benefits. There's a lot of moving parts and little, you know, pieces that attach everything to everything, but the kit should come with like an explanation of all of that, so don't worry too much about all that because it's explained. What I like to do when I am done, the silicone parts and the probe, so this bit, the tube and the probe, I will boil in hot water with some non-toxic soap, and then rinse it off and let it air dry. And then the rest of the stuff, the plastic stuff, I will wash by hand, just with hot water and warm soap, but I don't like to boil those. I never get any like, you know, mess in that regard, but it's for any coffee that comes out. So I'll just hang the bag like so on the towel rack. You can see that the solution is slowly coming down. you got some like air bubbles here, which you need to like almost like massage out because you don't want any air bubbles in going inside of you. So just like massage that out and wait till it all fills the entire tube. And then I've got my coconut oil to lube it up. At about minute 9, I started to feel that like real urge to go to the bathroom, so I did my best to like hold it in and get through it. I don't feel anything right now, like there's no like sensation inside, it's just kind of like this fullness. Yeah, it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. I just need to like resist that urge to go to the bathroom, and then once the 15 minutes is up, I go do it. Well guys, I am all done. I am emptied out and I'm just gonna go have a shower now. But I wanted to just say, like, guys, it's not messy at all. It's not painful at all, and it's a pretty like relaxing process, to be honest. If you have any questions, just comment below and I'll be sure to answer them. But I hope this lifted a little bit of the taboo and woo-woo-ness around the topic. When I first heard about coffee enemas, thought it was weird. My mum used to do them, my flatmate used to do them, and I always just like shied away from it. And then when I was researching for my gut health book about coffee enemas, I just realized like how healing it can be for the body and the gut. So I decided to give it a try, and since day one I've been hooked because it just makes you feel so good. Like the energy that you get from this stuff is just insane. So I hope you guys got some value from this video, and maybe it's like helped remove a little bit of the fear from doing this for yourself if you've been thinking about doing it for yourself. But yeah, I'm here if you have any questions.